So on paper, the Spurs are stacked at a lot of positions, right? So how are we going to divide up these minutes?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Friday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kansas 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. And you guys are the everydayers. We appreciate you coming here to Locked On Spurs every single day. You can find us on the Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Just subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcast. And keep on coming. We appreciate that. The subscription numbers are flying. They're over 8,000 now. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA. That'll get you $20 off your first purchase. What are we talking about today? Well, on paper, right, the Spurs are stacked in a lot of positions, right? Big men, they got plenty now, don't they? Wemby, Olynyk, Cornette. What about the guards? I think we know where they're at, the guards, right? What about swing guys? The small forwards. They're stacked, right? Keldon, Devin, Harrison, the list goes on and on. But then you have a little wrinkle in all this, right? You got a rookie, Dylan Harper, that at least in 2 games in the Summer League looked like he's going to be the real deal. Carter Bryant may not offensively show anything in Summer League, but defensively, he's probably making those coaching staff, Mitch Johnson, they're all those guys just drooling and got to get a minutes out there. But something's got to give, right? There's only 40 minutes in a game. So how are they going to divvy this up? Who's going to be the odd man or odd men out in this seemingly stacked Spurs deep roster? Let's talk about that with our guest, everybody. He is back joining us here on a Friday. He is my friend Casey Viera. Make sure to follow him on X at Casey_Viera. If Casey's on my roster, you're getting all minutes. You're not leaving the court, Casey. You're staying there from period 1 to the end. You're going to earn those bucks.
Jeff Thibodeau, clearly. Run him up.
Yeah, man. You would think by now Tibbs would understand that's kind of a negative thing and he would change, and he just doesn't, does he?
Well, I guess that's part of the reason he's out of a job, right? Did you see what Derrick Rose said the other day? They were asking him about Tibbs, how he was doing, because obviously they're close. So wherever I don't know where it was, but they asked him how he was doing. He's like, Tibbs is fine, man. He got his $30 million on the buyout, and he's just hanging out in his millions.
Can you imagine that? Just a company just saying, you know what? Yeah, you got to go, but we got to honor your $30 million contract. Here's a check. See you later. I think you'd be just fine, Casey. I think
you'd be all right.
Yeah, I don't know why sometimes fans start crying for these guys. I'm pretty sure they're okay, knowing that they got a fat. Well, yes. They'll definitely live. All right. Again, follow Casey on X at Casey_Viera. So, Casey, you're the intro, right? On paper, the Spurs are pretty deep. They needed some big men. Well, they got that. You need guards? They got plenty. Seriously, all switchable players. You need swingman? Who you want? Barnes? Who you want? Vassell? You want Keldon? Yeah, you want Sohan out there? Not a problem. We're good to go. But there's only so many minutes to go around. So let's start off with who do you think will be in that starting 5? Who's probably going to get the bulk of the minutes to start the new season?
I think the starting 5 probably looks something like I think you're thinking Fox and Castle.
Yep.
Barnes. Obviously. When I think they go Fox, Castle, Wemby, Barnes, Sohan.
Okay.
I think that's the move, because I think they'll come to the realization that they need more scoring off the bench, because if you don't have him scoring off the bench, or if you don't have Vassell there in that spot, it's not particularly, Harper's.
Mm-hmm.
He's Harper, but he's got a ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a ways to go. What it is in terms of being that lead scorer off the bench, and you saw it last year, that little spin where Vassell first came back from off-season surgery, and he went right to the bench, and he really played well off.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Right. So I think that's likely the route. If you ask me today on July 18th, Friday, July 18th, what it is, I think that's probably what you're looking at. I think Fox, Castle, Barnes, Sohan, Wembanyama, and I think when I say that, I think that probably, and I think it works out well in a situation where when you have Vassell coming off the bench, is that's the best way to kind of stagger the scorers that you have on your team outside of Victor and Fox. Options 3, 4, 5, whatever have you. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is to put him back in that spot. He looked good off the bench at times last year, and they don't really have anybody else right now that you can confidently say that, hey, go out there and just score, and it's going to be reasonably consistent. I think that's the move right now. How long they stick with it, I don't know. If they even stick with it anyways, but I think that's the route, going Vassell off the bench, first scoring off the bench. Yeah.
Are you keeping Barnes in the starting 5 because of his 3-point ability versus Vassell's 3-point ability? Barnes.
Yeah. Catch and shoot.
All right, because that for me going into the starting 5, where I was a little leery, and I was good on Castle and Fox and Wemby and Sohan. It was that other spot. I was like, man, it feels like that's the spot that they can probably play with the most next season.
Right.
I don't think Barnes, he's a pro. He's been there, done that. I don't think he will make too much of a fuss if they were to tell him, hey, you're in a new season now with us and you're coming off the bench and Vassell's starting. I don't think he'll have a problem with that, but I really feel it's that one spot seems to be interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can say maybe 1B that's interchangeable is the off guard, or the guard spot, I should say.
Right.
Because of Harper. Do you think Harper puts a wrinkle in all this? Because he's likely to come off the bench to start the season, but this kid is balling. He's proven to be the reason why he was the number 2 pick overall. He may force the Spurs' hands and be like, you know what? Yeah, Castle, you also came off the bench in your rookie season and you thrived. The only reason why you started was because of Foss's injury. I think that's another spot they can play with.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
I think a lot of it's contingent how the 3-guard thing works.
Okay.
Because I think we're going to see that a lot with Fox, Harper, Castle out there. I think we're going to see that early. I think we're going to see it often. And if it works, you probably do see Harrison Barnes go to the bench, and you see the 2 guys all with off guard spots. Essentially what they become is Barnes and Stefan Castle. But I also think their ability, that guy's ability more so in particular, to become a more consistent knockdown shooter will certainly really give them more options to do that, without a doubt. You can make the assumption that he is going to improve, but he's not going to turn into Reggie Miller or a first. There's still going to be issues. There's still going to be issues with spacing, and I do think, I'm the same mindset. They are going to hit a little bit of an impasse at some point in terms of Harper. In terms of getting Harper in the starting lineup. But in my mind, I think a lot of it just comes down to how well they're going to be able to space the floor, and how well those 2 guys, and Castle and to really a certain extent, De'Aaron Fox as well, because he's not exactly call him an immaculate 3-point shooter for sure. Yeah. I mean, there is going to be a spacing issue, and Harrison Barnes, contrarily, he can help with that spacing issue.
Exactly.
But it points out the other question, though. So if they want to try to get Harper into that lineup, to try to muscle him in, is the move at that point to sit Sohan instead of, it's like, in the sake of this conversation, is he closer to the hot seat to getting benched,
right,
as opposed to Barnes? I'm not particularly sure. There's just a lot of hypotheticals around that.
There are. And if we're going to, I like your analogy here, a hot seat situation as far as starting or coming off the bench, right now that hot seat's occupied by Vassell. It has to be. That it get wrong. He is the one where if you look, if it's opening night and he's starting and Harrison is off the bench, I wouldn't be mad at that. Yeah. But if it's flipped and Harrison's starting and Vassell's off the bench, that just seems to be a better fit for the Spurs. Yeah, but we're not done talking about this topic here about the minutes and spacing. More on Harper. What about the other rookie? Carter Bryant, that defense we saw. Yeah, let's talk about that in just a few minutes right here on Locked On Spurs with Casey Viera. He's on X at Casey_Viera. Hey, but first I want to talk about game time. We've been there, right? Logging in early, waiting forever for concert tickets, sports tickets, just for them to go on sale, right? Won't you lose your spot and then show that, yeah, you miss out on that event you wanted to go to that you've been dying to see? Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets and sporting tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, tip-off. You can save up to 60% off with killer last-minute deals. They have it all there. They got zone deals. Basically, they'll pick the best seats for you. What about panoramic seat views? Yeah, you can look at the view of your seat before you even buy, so there's no surprises. The price that you see is the price that you pay on Game Time. No hidden fees. You even got the Game Time guarantee. They have your back on cancellation protection and so much more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets, event tickets, just any tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by my good friend Casey Viera. Make sure to follow him on X at Casey_Viera. He sometimes moonlights. It helps me out on Locked On Spurs, so that'll probably increase as we get closer to the season. So, Casey, enjoy your time off now. Just a heads up.
As long as you'll have me, I'll be there.
All right. So we're talking about the minutes, right? And we know this team, at least on paper, is pretty stacked and deep. There's no doubt about that, right? And we looked at the starting five, we pretty sure what it might be, some interchangeable pieces, but there's some wild cards in all this. And the first wild card we brought up already was Dylan Harper. Now, I get it, Casey. It was summer league. This is not an NBA game. Hell, it's not even a preseason game. They're just glorified practices. But you saw the ability that he can do, get to the lane, show craftiness. I don't think the Spurs have had a guard of that mold in quite some time. The closest one I thought of maybe was DeJounte, but DeJounte coming in wasn't already like that size already that Dylan Harper is. I mean,
it took some time for DeJounte.
It took some time, yeah. I mean, that was the close. I mean, unless you think of another point guard, a little guard.
No,
that's the last.
DeJounte, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, DeJounte was probably the last guard we had. It's close to this, but Harper is just something different. Now, his 3-shot still needs work, and his defense is good. It's not great, but it's good. You alluded to it. You said you can probably see maybe Mitch Johnson, coaching staff, kind of struggling with what to do to him as the season progresses. Do you think he will be the ultimate one maybe to push out? I know you mentioned Castle, but what about De'Aaron Fox? He would have to really show out to push out De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. No way, right?
No, not a chance.
No, not a chance.
Not a chance. Not a chance. No.
What if he? Yeah, I mean, De'Aaron Fox. They think of him as a scorer, but they don't. People forget that he's a pretty good defender as well.
He's also a guy you mortgaged a large chunk of your future for too. So.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Yeah. So is Harper in this whole thing here? Is he the biggest wild card, even over Vassell and that position? We'll get to Carter Bryant in a bit. It just feels like he's the one that could really shake up how the minutes are going to be spread out, or maybe the starting unit.
On the surface, yeah. But the more I think about it, I don't think so.
Okay.
And here's why. Because I think his flaws that he has right now as a teenager coming into the league, his first time, coming into the league as a rookie, the inevitable flaws that he's going to have with his shooting and his defense. I think those are going to, for all those spectacular things he does otherwise, I think those two holes that he has in his game right there are actually going to be keeping him out of the starting lineup for a considerable portion. And I know it kind of sounds like I'm hopping on both sides of the fence here, but I think that is what's going to keep him out for a large chunk of this season out of the starting five. I think in order for him to get a large chunk of those minutes, I think the shooting is going to have to increase, because I don't want to put all that stock in Stephon Castle, a second-year player in his own right, to make that leap himself. Going back to the staggering the minutes conversation here, there's a level, and we've talked about it before when it comes to Castle and it comes to Harper, and to a certain extent Fox, but more so Castle and Harper, is that there's an element of just repetitiveness with the two, and having them in the starting lineup, and at times it's not conducive to success when they have similar flaws. Those flaws being shooting the basketball. It's a problem. It can be a problem. And I think that's something that they're going to come across at some point early on. I think it's inevitable. But as a result, I think it keeps Harper out of the starting lineup, in my opinion. When in terms of wild card, in terms of the guys shaking things up, I don't think he will. You know that. Okay, maybe the better way to phrase it is like, he's there. He's the number 2 pick. You're going to have to make it work just because of who he is. The number 2 pick, just by default, you're going to have to. But I think in terms of the guy who has a realistic chance of, filling that interchangeable spot or mixing with that, I think it's Vassell. Because I think Vassell's skill set right now fits a little bit more ideal in starting 5, comparatively speaking, to where Harper is.
Do you think if the Spurs had a time machine and they saw that they were going to get the number 2 pick, do you think they would have made the deal for Fox? I know you love these. You love these what if scenarios. Casey's a big fan of these what if scenarios. I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
Okay. All right. You go ahead. You tell me.
I don't think they do. Because 1, they don't have to deal with this quote unquote headache they're having right now. And 2, maybe they got to pay him. Why pay Fox a boatload of money that's coming up fast, like in August, I believe.
Right.
Or pay a guy on a rookie scale contract and have him here for about 4 or 5 years on that scale.
Right.
I think it's more financial. They don't make the move. What do you think?
I think in my mind, that's the only reason you don't do it. Is if you're getting into the apron conversation. But right now, there's the whole team, and that's what kind of like drives me nuts a little bit, because people are like, oh, they have to pay Victor, they're going to have to pay Fox, all this money. Okay, well, everybody else for the most part on this team is on reason. There are no contracts that are just pure Bradley Beal albatrosses on the folks that mess things up and screw you over with the apron. They have all their draft capital. I'm not worried about paying Fox market value of what he's probably going to get. He's going to get the contract of a all-star caliber point guard. Like, you pay Victor, whatever. You still have Castle 3 years at the start of this year on his rookie deal, Harper on his rookie deal, Bryant on his rookie deal. And one of the things that we've seen that's interchangeable, saw with OKC, was making a lot of those players outside of the big 3 interchangeable. And that was kind of the design that Sam Presti went into there with, was just kind of the archetype. We got our fruit, and everybody else will let them get to a certain point. And then when it's time for them to hit the market, we don't got the money to pay you. But we do have the next guy in the wings after 2 years on the bench. Come on down. You're promoted at the job. How did we get into the conversation? Oh, you were asking about
the Fox. Yeah, I just had a what if scenario popped in my head.
I think they do, because I think a lot of it goes back to Victor. There's 2 things: the idea of positionless basketball. That's one, and really, I guess it's kind of the same idea, just amplified because of here. You cannot have enough ball handlers out there who can create their own shot, who can make everybody else better around them. And if even the Fox trade it happened. In reality, and in this universe,
in this what if universe,
yeah. And in every universe in my book, it happened. I think that they would do it. I think it still makes sense, and I think the fact that you have 3 guys at that point who are very versatile and can play, in Stephon Cass's case, 3 different positions as well. I think you do it. I think they would do it. But to my mind, the money conversation, I think that's the only thing that gets.
They trip them up.
I don't even think it gets in the. I don't even think it really gets in the way, though.
I think it makes them pause a little longer. Maybe it doesn't get in the way, but they're not. Look, I don't know.
How about this? They have to. You're talking about, do they make the trade?
Do they make the trade? If they got a time machine, and they saw in the future, they're going to get the number 2 pick.
Well, my thing with the trade here, though, too, with the Fox trade, is they got him for cents on the dollar.
Oh yeah, that was the deal.
So, are you saying in this, they're looking into this time machine, multiverse, whatever it is, and you're saying same trade, everything we gave up, cents on the dollar, everything that played out in real life, not give any more. Yeah, then you have to.
Yeah, then you do it. Yeah, exactly.
That's what the Hawks have done this offseason too.
Yeah,
those picks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those picks are like, if we're looking in the same timeline here, we're also knowing at this point the Hawks have gotten increasingly better. So, well, those picks are not what they were, what we thought.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. By the way, Spurs, you might be trying to think about getting rid of those picks as well in real time.
Go in the vault. You need to go into the vault and see this time last year with some of our episodes how we were hyping up those Hawks picks. Because there was some.
Oh, no, I can tell you right now, we'd have to go look in the archives, man. We were. Well, it was like they're like golden tickets.
Yeah. Well, that was the path to getting Trae Young.
Yeah.
Remember? It was like, take your picks back. We'll take Trae Young.
Exactly. All right. You know what? We forgot about one guy in the roster, Carter Bryant. We're going to talk about him when we get back right now, and then get it. Well, we only got time now for like one fan comment. We'll get to one of your thoughts in just a few minutes right here with Casey Viera. Make sure to follow him on X at Casey_Viera. And I want to talk about open phone. If you're running a business, every missed call is basically money left on the table. Think about the last time you had an urgent need, maybe for a plumber or just a service. And the person didn't answer. What did you do? You probably didn't wait, right? You moved on. That's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications off from an app on your phone or computer. Open Phone lets you manage business calls, text from a single app. You get a shared inbox, which is basically a game changer. Your team can jump into any conversation instantly without missing a beat. You even have an AI agent. So if you have after-hour calls, that agent can handle common questions, capture leads, so you never miss a customer. Open Phone right now is offering listeners 20% off their first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Casey Viera. He's on X at Casey_Viera. I'm going to be Coach Tibbs and run him to the ground. There'll be minutes for him all the time in the Jeff Garcia basketball team. Sorry, Casey. Sorry, Casey. Yeah, you're going to get your burn, though. I mean, players always cry for minutes. Well, how about that?
Then I'm going to get paid.
All right, we're talking about the Spurs roster. Basically, where are the minutes? How this is going to be divvied up? One guy that possibly could be another wild card in all this is the young kid out of Arizona, Carter Bryant. Now, the Summer League so far has shown pretty good defense. Not so much offense, but I think that'll come in time. But as far as defense, yeah, he's making his name known, and it's loud. Now, once again, KC and I, we get it. It's Summer League. I understand he's not guarding Luka every night or Donovan Mitchell every night, we get that. But nevertheless, he's showing that his defensive impact could force the Spurs to really give him considerable thought about giving him some minutes. If Carter Bryant, Casey, keeps on doing what he's doing in preseason, training camp, if he does spend time in Austin, just really showing that, my God, this guy is just a stopper. He could really be battling for some minutes and probably bump some minutes away from some of the other players we talked about. Your thoughts?
I mean, could he?
Okay, and why do you have a little doubt?
I have doubt because you look at just kind of what's, and I'm just bringing up the I want to make sure I don't forget anybody.
Sure.
So I'm just bringing up the full minutes counts from last year. I just don't know where barring injury, I just don't know where the consistent minutes come in this year one.
Yeah.
Or a trade or a move, of course, because he at that forward position between the two, you're looking at Vassell, you're looking at Barnes, you're looking at Sohan, you're looking at Keldon Johnson. At the small forward, essentially, you're looking at Julian Champagnie.
Yeah.
So it's 5 guys right there alone. We're talking about potentially the 3-guard lineup with Castle. Where are the minutes coming from? And that's not necessarily a knock on him.
Yeah.
I just don't know, knowing how this organization has a affinity for playing not even veterans, the guys they know, sticking with what they know. I don't see a real path to playing time, barring trade.
The only way I think Carter Bryant really puts I want to say a scare, but puts a seed into the players' thoughts about losing minutes to him, and is if he starts being an offensive threat too.
He's got to. He's got.
That's
the only way, because I don't think the defense is an issue with this team. I think the defense is going to be a top 15. I think it's going to be a top 15 defense.
I got him top 10.
I'm not trying to be overly ambitious.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not saying they're going to be number 1. I think maybe they might be 9 or 10 at the bottom rank, but
they're going to.
But anyway,
on the better half.
Yeah, the better half of it. Yeah, but the point is I think Carter Bryant has the possibility to really shake up how the minutes are going to be dispersed if he starts being an offensive threat. You talked about in the previous segments about the OKC format and how they planned that out. Man, the Vassell replacement. What do you think? The Keldon Johnson replacement? What do you think?
That's kind of the they're going for.
That is the blueprint.
Capital is down the road. I mean, there are minutes to be had because Julian Champagnie, for what he's done, he's not, he's replayed. Those minutes can be had. That at the 10th, what essentially would be if they go 10 man, he would essentially be like the 10th man off the bench. That's not something concrete. That's fluid. There are minutes that are there. I just think they're few and far between, and he's going to have a hard time probably cracking it. He has the chance. For as great as he was defensively, that's how woeful he was offensively, shooting the basketball this summer.
Yeah,
but we like the fact that he has that defense. It's more than defense with him. It's just the confidence, and it's the thing that Stephon Castle had last year. And I think what made him so endearing to a lot of people was that he just had an attitude that he belonged. Not arrogance, but he didn't. When you saw Stephon Castle those first few months, it was a maturity and a sense that you could tell that he has a sense that he belongs out there with these people. And Carter Bryant has that similar energy. That he knows that he belongs. I can't remember what game it was. We're one of the earlier ones, but he was talking about he's going out there to guard, whether you're 6 foot or 7'1", whatever. It's his assignment. I'm going to lock it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then he had the quote after the Mavericks game where I can't remember. I'll just say Tom Morsborn because he's always got the good stuff. Actually, I think it was Tom. If you get hyped for some of these matchups playing against, in this case was Cooper Flagg, he said no, maybe
I remember that. Yeah.
I think that probably a little bit of that was coach speak and just saying the right thing in the Spurs way. I think a little bit because I have a hard time believing that your first game in the real national spotlight against one of the most prized picks in the history of the sport, It's another Wednesday.
I hear you.
So,
I hear you. Yeah,
I love Carter Bryant's confidence. I do.
Oh yeah. By the way, I'm gonna put this picture back up here. He needs to do more of that, but find the bottom of the bucket. That's it, right?
I would say,
but find the bottom of the bucket.
That's the scout's analysis.
Yeah, there it is. There's our scout report.
No need to bring a scout onto this program as to how.
No, not at all. No, we figured it out for the Spurs, right? Carter Bryant. Yeah, just do that, but make sure that round ball goes in the basket. All right. Well,
if you do this, listen. If he does, I mean, you talk about the forward spot.
Yeah,
you're going to put yourself in that conversation. I just don't think it's reasonable to ask that of him this year.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, those are our thoughts about how the minutes are going to be divvied up. Of course, we only have limited time here, so we may have missed a few things. But if we did, or you want to chime in, do you let Casey know your thoughts on his takes on at Casey_Viera? You let me know, but even a comment on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Just go on YouTube, search Locked On Spurs, hit subscribe, leave a comment, simple. And speaking of that, let's going to read. We'll pick out one to close out a Friday here on Locked On Spurs. Let's see what these guys are talking about.
When was the weekend strong, Jeffrey?
Oh, I think we're going to have a good one here.
Okay.
If it's about something, the Spurs still need 3-point shooting. So this is actually an interesting one. And by the way, shout out Rudy Campos. He was a good sport. Locked On Spurs fans were cooking him bad lately.
What did he do?
I mean,
my man,
it got to the point too, Casey. No kidding, it leaked into X. They left the Locked On Spurs YouTube to find him on X to give him the business. Basically, he said Wemby's not generational as of today.
I mean, that's like,
and that just sent off a storm right there.
I mean, not getting off wrong, but like, what was
his argument is this: as of today, this is his rationale. Oh, the Wemby's generational crowd is. Oh, look at this. What's his evidence? A 7-footer knocking down threes. Rudy's response is, "Yeah, I've seen that before. Karl-Anthony Towns, Manute Bol, both other 7-footers have been known to knock down threes." And somebody, oh my God, I've never seen a 7-footer block so many shots in a game. His response is, yeah, Mark Eaton, Manute Bol, David Robinson. I've seen all this before. His whole thing is, what has Wemby shown that that 7-footers have not shown in the past so far?
It's that he can do all of that. None of those 7-footers could do that. What he does, because like if you're looking at like the individual skill set of like I get what Rudy's going for. There have been guys of the past who have been able to do these and still presently do better than him on the offense. Like Karl-Anthony Towns, a much better shooter.
3-shot,
that's fine. But there hasn't been a guy that does all of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
what's the closest guy I think did all that was probably David Robinson. That was the closest. Agility, blocky shots, scoring.
It's like it's tough because it's tough to compare because it's generational. David Robinson is not going to be getting looks from 3. I mean, do we say? I guess.
Well, back then in that era, the big men were known for that, but David could knock them down. I think and he wasn't known for that, but he had at least the ability to do it.
Right.
In today's era,
yeah, like he didn't have the green light. It's like, okay, so is Giannis in that conversation then too?
Giannis was brought up in that conversation too. Like, oh, a swift, speedy 7-footer. Yeah, I've seen Giannis too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then never mind. Then I amend that statement. I say we have seen it with Giannis.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, everybody, as everybody rushes to go cook Rudy again, we started that fire. Let's see what you guys are talking about. I got it right here on my other screen. Okay, I'm going to read it for y'all. This is from Little Mac. Oh, yeah, let me read this right. Sure, I got it right. Little Mac Mo. That's his name. Little Mac Mo. All right. He says, and it's a long quote here, so I'm going to try to condense it for us, Casey. He says, if I had to make a bet on which player from last year's roster to make the greatest leap from the 3 line, I bet on Stephon Castle. His willingness to take the 3 at the right spot and time in the game combined with the shooting form sticks out to me. He just needs to fix a few things and his shot will be there and he'll be a threat. He goes, I can see Wemby improving, but his bet is on Castle. Go Spurs, go. So that's a great topic that I could probably use for a Locked On Spurs offseason topic is which Spur could take the next step from the 3 line. He says Castle, Little Mac does. Who do you think? You just say Sohan. I know it. I know you just say Sohan.
I was gonna say, yeah, I would probably go Castle as well, based off of volume. Yeah. But then at the same time of that argument, you could say, well, if he's a below average 3-point shooter now and the volume that he has, if he's going to get increased volume with that, not his percentage per se, it's a reasonable argument as well, because that volume is going to be there with this year. Damn, that's a good.
See, I was going to go on a limb. I'm going to go on the limb and say, yikes, Devin. That was my wild card, Devin.
Honestly, now that I say that out loud, I mean,
yeah,
Victor or Devin.
Victor, yeah, Victor could do that.
It's probably Vassell, and I think it's.
Yeah, this is going to be Vassell.
I don't think Keldon, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't think Castle's numbers increase because of volume. I think Vassell's numbers probably do increase because of the lack of volume.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I got Vassell as at least by numbers go up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Statistic. Yeah. Vassell.
Hey, maybe we're missing the obvious one. Luke Cornett, because he didn't take any threes last year with Boston. So he just needs to take a couple of them, and then boom, he's up there, baby.
I find that so crazy. That Boston, but that Boston team, everyone and their mother was shooting threes.
Right?
Heck, that everyone. A record-breaking pace, something no team's ever done before. And this guy's not a part of it. Well, when that stat started circulating, that and I knew, like, all right, yeah, again, like I knew this, he wasn't Cat or anything, but I knew he was a dress shit. And so I hadn't been paying a close enough eye to know that, like, not only were the numbers down, but they were non-existent entirely. It's down and non-existent. That blew my mind. I had no idea. That'd be interesting, especially at times when they put him and Victor on the floor together, because I feel like it's at the point with Victor, if you're going to be on the floor with him in some capacity, it's like, be ready. You're going to be shooting a 3 in some capacity, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think that Boston team, man, they probably said, Luke, don't even bother, man. We got the guns for it already. Like,
when you think about it, right? I mean,
who's that? Derek White, Pritchard, Jaylen Brown. Al Orford. The list goes on and on. Jeez.
Well, and the thing is too, he wasn't playing like that. There is a depth chart that he had to work through a little bit, and a lot of the minutes he was getting, at times were situational too. When Porzingis was healthy and Horford, I know those were few and far between, and all 3 of them are healthy. So, there was a little bit of a logjam to figure that out.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. But hey, if we're going to talk about statistical improvement, it's got to be Luke. It's got to be Luke, baby. Got to be Luke.
Only way is up.
It's the only way is up. All right. He is Casey Viera. Make sure to follow him on X at Casey_Viera. Let him know what you think about his takes on this episode of Locked On Spurs, whether from the minutes, how we're going to divide all that up to, who's going to be the best 3. Well, then take you the next incremental step in the 3 line. Again, follow him on X at Casey_Viera. Casey, as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. Always appreciate it. And by the way, a lot of fans like those little videos you sent me to add into their videos. Videos that you did. Yeah, so that was a nice touch.
I think that was there. Might as well let them know what happened, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you again, Casey. We appreciate that. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to follow us and subscribe ASAP. You guys are the everydayers. We'll be back on Monday as the Spurs offseason continues and inching little by little to the doldrums, dog days of the NBA. I think they're already here. I think they're about to start soon. As soon as Vegas is over, it's going to get quiet. But we'll keep you going here on Locked On Spurs. Check out Locked On NBA on YouTube. Just search for Locked On NBA, and then there it is. Go subscribe to it and check it out. By the way, on a couple of days ago, Locked On NBA, Locked On Spurs was highlighted talking Wemby. So go check that out. It was pretty cool. So now, as
Rudy's take, I thought it was Rudy's take got the show highlighted that day.
No. Look, anything with Wembanyama slapped on there, they're gonna be throw it on. Anything Wembanyama. You know what? Maybe I just need to bring it to their attention. Just like, hey, this guy had a take on here. Yeah, sorry, Rudy. Rudy, we're throwing you under the bus again. Sorry about that, Rudy. Sorry for that. He loves it though. He loves scoring that. He says, by the way, Casey, he says he never gets cooked. He goes, he does the cooking. So, well, Rudy.
When you have Jimenez in arm's reach.
Oh yeah, that's easy. That's
you're in good company.
Yeah, good coverage.
All
right. And with that, everybody, again, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. And remember, kids, never know the odds, as Captain Solo said. So for Casey Viera, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.